day, another beach. This time, this is Caluli. Now we're on our way to Cala Luna, but Caluli is a bit of a stop-off point because we've had to park the car on top of that cliff en route to Cala Luna, which is a 4-kilometre trek. So what I thought I'd do is come down here and just have a little explore. I've done a bit of rock climbing, a bit of scrambling over the rocks, and I found a lovely composition. And what I wanted to do this time is slow down the shutter speed to about a 30th of a second, so I wanted to show the break in the waves. So that's what I've tried to do all across the shoreline, and I'm going to stitch them all together. And there's a really interesting rock here that's over my left shoulder, which is on its own, which is a crazy triangular shape, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So that's my composition for the morning. Now it's on to Cala Luna. Made it to Cala Luna after about a 3-hour trek, so if you ever do come here, be prepared and probably bring your walking boots, because my Nike Airs are a little bit, let's say, dishevelled now. Anyway, Cala Luna, fabulous coastline and some really cool caves. I've just had a little wander in here and I've seen a shot from the inside looking out. So what I'm going to do, because obviously if I expose for what's in the cave, obviously everything outside the cave will be blown out. So I'm going to try and do a bit of bracketing. 3 stops, 2 stops either way. And I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to get a good shot. So have a quick look at this little cave. And as soon as you step foot inside this cave, everything starts going a lot quieter. It starts getting a bit weirder. So I'm going to head up here. The light, by the way, is fabulous. Great to do a photo shoot up here. That's going to look pretty cool. So what I've done, I've just varied my aperture on this instead of actually just doing 1 stop under, 1 stop over. So I've done my first shot f4.5, second at f9, third at f18. If I put those all together, you get a pretty nice composition. I'm going to get out of here before a stalactite hits me on the head. Okay, today's the final day in Sardinia. Hopefully it's going to be the best one. It's very sunny, which is consistent with the forecast, which is great news. And we're going to Cala Goloritze, which is one of Lonely Planet's, if that means anything to you, or if that could be believed, best beaches in Europe, the top 10 best beaches. It's in the top 10. It's just over my shoulder and it looks beautiful already. So I want to get down here, and I've brought the big stopper, I've brought the big tripod, and I want to try and get that picture, you know, that postcard shot with beautiful crystal clear water and, you know, desolate beach. So I'll have to do a bit of photoshopping because I'm sure it'll be a popular beach, and hopefully a nice blue sky. So I've got the polarizer with me too to help me out. But meanwhile, I've got about another hour to trek down through the wild boar and the donkeys, and hashtag first world problems. Right, see you on the beach. This is probably the best thing I've ever seen in my real life. The water is just phenomenal. The trek here was well worth the view. It's just fabulous. The colours are amazing, and it's so quiet. There's hardly anybody here. So I've got the camera out, of course. I'm trying my best not to push it into the Tyrrhenian Sea. What I'm keen to do here is, first of all, when you shoot landscape, just shoot in live mode. You might not like to do it, but it's so much easier. It helps match up your horizons and things like that. So you can have you can see the bigger picture of what actually is going on. But what I want to do now, first is two things that I want to do. The first thing is I've got a polarizer on. So I'm just going to flip to video and I'm going to show you guys how I use my polarizer. You can see that when I spin the polarizer, you can see the top of the frame has gone very dark blue, and I'm having trouble actually with my own shadow actually looking at the shot. But can you see the top of the frame's gone very dark blue, and it just gives you the appearance that it's a bit of a black sky, and we don't want that. It's too dramatic. So if we spin it 180 degrees, we get a nice blue sky, and look at the waves. Look at the foreground. Here are the black sky and the kind of golden on the colour, a golden colour on the foreground. We spin it 180 degrees. It takes all that harshness away, and we've got a much more softer landscape. Okay, so I've just done a couple of shots with my big stopper, and I'm very, very happy. I exposed on aperture priority at f11, and it said it was going to. It said a shutter speed of 150th of a second. So I looked at the cheat sheet that Lee Filters give you, and it said between 4 and 8 seconds. So I messed around with a couple of exposures because it's never dead on, and I'm really, really happy. I've really captured the motion of the waves, and what's more important, the shapes that are lurking beneath this water, which kind of look like, I don't know, they've been there for millions and millions of years. So I'm really, really happy. On to the next composition. Okay, so that's that side of the beach nailed. I'm really happy with what I've got there. Now what I want to do is a sweep of the whole beach, and to do that I'm going to do a panorama, and I'm going to use my big stopper. So I'm going to use probably around about six photographs. I'm going to stitch them all together in Photoshop. And remember, I've got to keep the same exposure, so everything's got to be identical, because if not, you'll have 1 or 2 photographs that just won't sync up. The exposures will be wrong. So I'm going to aim for around about f11, similar to what I did over there. Of course it will be different over here because the sun's in a different place to where what I'm photographing. So it's going to be around about f11, I reckon about between 6 and 8 seconds each photograph, and I'm going to stitch the whole beach together, and I'm going to pretty much stay where you're looking from now, and I'm going to try and use these waves as a leading line to try and draw your eye to this huge needle of a cliff that's just freestanding pretty much up there, and you'll see it in the picture hopefully. It is epic. Such a cool place here. I've never seen anything like it. Okay, so that's pretty much all I've got time for, really. I've done I'm really happy with the photography that I've captured this side and also this side as well. I'm a bit nervous about sticking that panorama together because I ended up doing 12 images, up, down, so on and so forth. But I'm really happy that I brought the 10 stop with me, because without bringing this, I don't think I would have been able to do so many great shots. You can turn an ordinary shot into a fabulous shot with one of these. So if you're thinking about taking the 10 stop on holiday with you, it's a no-brainer. You have to take it. It's such a great addition to your kit, especially if you're a landscape photographer. So I think I've got all the photography that I need, really. I'm pretty happy with what I've got. I've got at least 10 photos from this Sardinia trip that I'm really happy with, and I'll be posting them all in a blog, which I'll leave in the description below. My co-traveller and companion, Laura the Explorer, who's currently sunbathing over there, who wants me to get in the sea with her, she'll also be vlogging the whole trip, so make sure you give that a watch, and I'll stick her subscription channel, her channel, in the details below. So I'm really happy with what I've got so far, and the last thing I want to do tonight is to try and capture a sunset. If we do it, brilliant. If not, then I'm really happy with what we've seen. So I think it's time to go in. It's not quite as warm as it looks. Car park from Cala Goloritze. We're both zero energy. We've run out of water about 2 kilometers ago. We only brought half a litre with us anyway, which is a silly idea. But we're trying to just get back to the car park, and we can taste that cold Coca-Cola already. So this is us at our lowest, and I wanted to remember it. Sometimes when you're at your lowest, it's the most memorable. But the prize is that cold can of Coke, maybe a nice ham and cheese sandwich, and that's what's getting us through at the moment. Right, so last day of the trip, and we've just come to admire one final sunset, which went to plan. Got a couple of panos, but in typical style, battery went and left the spare in the flat, so I can't vlog my outro or my summary. So I just want to thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, then please see the full set of pictures in the blog, which will be in the description below. Please make sure you subscribe and go one better than that and tell your friends. Right, over and out. Thanks a lot, everyone.